Nebraska's new head coach, Matt Rhule, says that the way to bring Nebraska back to its former winning ways of over 20 years ago is to focus on the ground game and a balanced attack, smash-mouth football, control that line of scrimmage. Now, fans have been talking about this for the last 20 years, ever since Bill Callahan took over in the early 2000s. But is it true? Are the fans right? Is Matt Rhule onto something? I'm Don Collins. This is the Don Collins Show, and I'm going to try to answer those questions. Before we talk about whether or not Nebraska focusing on a balanced running attack will help the team get back to the winning ways of old, I'd like you to take a moment and subscribe to this channel on one condition and one condition only, and that is that you like these videos and you think the content I'm doing is valuable and worth your time. And that's why I hope that you'll take a moment and subscribe to this channel if you like what you see in this video and share it with others. Now, after I looked at the data, I thought it would be a good idea to put together some charts so we could all visualize this. The first chart is a correlation between the percentage of carries that a team's top running back had versus the percentage of wins the team had within the conference. So, for example, the teams on the very right, those are the top teams in the conference, and you can see that those teams on average had a top running back with around 40% of the carries for the team for the year. By comparison, Anthony Grant for Nebraska carried the ball nearly 2 out of 3 times at 61%. So if you've been watching the team this year and wondering, was anyone else running the ball? Well, pretty much no, not many other guys touched the ball. It was Anthony Grant 2 out of 3 times. And that is more than half the percent, catch 50% more carries by percent than the running backs for the top teams in the conference. But then you notice on the left-hand side of the screen, the teams that are worst in terms of the number of wins in conference also seem to have a balanced attack. 40%, 45% for the top running back on each of those teams. Well, that's when I looked a little bit deeper and discovered that it wasn't just a balance in the number of times a team or number of times a player for each team carried the ball. There also had to be production. And so now I want you to notice something. This next chart is going to show you on the left-hand side the winning percentage of the teams that we talked about, the win-loss percentage, juxtaposed against the overall rushing yards that team had. And what you'll find is the very same teams that had the balanced attack that were also losers also had the least amount of total yards. Well, you may wonder where Nebraska fits into all of this. Well, it's not good. You see, Nebraska had neither a balanced attack on the ground nor a lot of yards to show for it. And what you got with this unbalanced, low production running game was a 4-8 record. For Nebraska to win the Big Ten, to get back to those winning ways of old, it's going to take doing something that the fans have been right about for a long time. The fans have been right that the high production, balanced, smash-mouth football running game is what Nebraska has needed for the last 20-something years. But that takes me to the second takeaway, which is Nebraska's gotten so far away from that, it's going to take a cultural shift within the team. To go from 1,500 yards a year to 2,000 or more, to go from one guy carrying the ball 61% of the time to less than 40% of the time, to have that kind of shift happen, it's going to take a change in the culture, and it may not be easy. But the good news is, Nebraska fan, you've got a coach in Matt Rhule who is now talking the talk about the things that you've wanted the team to walk the walk of for nearly a generation. Matt Rhule says it's coming back, and it can't come back soon enough. The data is clear. For Nebraska to win in the Big Ten, it's going to have to run the ball more, spread the rock around, and get back to that smash-mouth brand of football. I want to thank you for watching this video, and if you get something good out of this, please consider subscribing to this channel. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and tell your friends and neighbors. And until next time, I'm Don Collins, and go Big Red. See you next video.